Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. After learning mathematics, which is Islam, and Islam is mathematics, it stands true. You can always prove it at no limit of time. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I bear witness there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, to whom praises are due forever. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is his last and greatest messenger. And I further bear witness that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is the divine reminder in our midst today. I greet you in the greeting words of our forefathers. Assalamu alaikum. Brothers and sisters, today we want to talk about, again, the great, magnificent favor that God has paid you and I by raising in our midst his last and surely his greatest messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. We, the so-called American Negroes, have been lost here in this wilderness of North America. Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, upon finding us, declared us to be the lost people, the lost nation of Islam in the wilderness of North America. And that since he had found us, that made us rightly called the lost found nation in the wilderness of North America. America is referred to as a wilderness. A wilderness, we know, is a place that things are wild, a wild place. A wilderness is a place that is inhabited by beasts. And America has been called a haven for beasts. It's called in the book of Revelation a haven for every foul spirit and a cage for every unclean and hateful bird. A wilderness is a place where wild beasts reign supreme. And we are also taught that a savage is a person who has lost the knowledge of himself and is living a beast life. And you and I, who our parents were brought here to this spiritual wilderness, raised and nurtured and trained by beasts, are those savages. We are a savage people and we are living a beast life. But all praises be to Allah on his coming and raising his last and his greatest messenger from among us. That is our salvation. His coming and his raising his divine messenger among us is that salvation that the whole world has been taught to expect at the end of this world. The end of a world of beasts, being ruled by beasts and inhabited by savages. And we, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, teaches us are those lost people that the Bible speaks of, that the Quran speaks of. The Quran speaks of us as being lost in the earth. And we know we were lost. We are the most lost people that have ever been in the world. We have lost the knowledge of ourselves, and having lost the knowledge of ourselves, we live on a level that makes us the laughing stocks of the whole world. We are the most backward people on earth, even though we don't know it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says when our forefathers were brought here, the first ones were killed. They were made to have babies. And then the parents of those babies were killed. And the babies were raised up, given only the knowledge that their enemy wanted them to have. So they came up not knowing. And their not knowing, they were unable to teach their children. So their children didn't know. And then their babies did not know. So we have come up not knowing. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, not worse than not knowing is the fact that we don't know that we don't know. So our parents were brought up not knowing, and then they had us and they couldn't teach us. So we didn't know, and now we don't even know that we don't know. We are foolish people who think we are wise. And there's nothing, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, and our own parents have said, there's nothing worse than an educated fool. So even though we have education, that education is not used to better or improve ourselves. Therefore, we are made even more foolish. So we're the only people on earth that don't have a natural love for ourselves. We are people who are lost even to each other. We don't like each other. We've been reared and taught and trained against our own betterment and against our own, what is good for our own people, against our own selves. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that we were made enemies of one another. We were made to hate one another. And the Bible even says, I think in 1 John, the 4th chapter, it says that how can you love God who you've never seen and hate your brother who you see every day? It says if we claim that we love our brother, we love God who we've never seen and hate our brother who we see every day, that makes us liars. That makes us false. Because how can you love the God you've never seen and hate your brother who you see every day? And the same thing that makes God God is in your brother, because we are direct descendants of that God. The Bible teaches us we are all God's children of the Most High God. The Bible teaches about a man named Lazarus. In, I think it's the book of Luke, the 16th chapter, around the 19th verse. It starts talking about Lazarus at the rich man's gate. It says this man Lazarus was content to lie at the rich man's gate and beg for the crumbs that fell from the rich man's table. And no matter how badly the rich man treated poor Lazarus, Lazarus just stayed at the rich man's gate begging for the crumbs. And it says that the rich man let the dog out, and the dog would come and lick the sores of Lazarus. That means that every people that used to worship us, every people, they bring all these different people to America, and they wax rich off of our sores, our lack of unity, our lack of brotherhood enables other people to get rich off of us. So they bring people from India here, and they set up businesses in the black neighborhood, and they wax rich. They're able to employ their cousins, their uncles, their aunts, their family members, and they extract the wealth from our community and take it to their community and make their community rich. They're able to take our nickels and dimes and do things for their own self, educate their children, build up their communities. But we haven't been able to build up ours. We built up the community of the Jews. We built up the community of the Koreans. We built up the communities of the Arabs. We built up the community of the the Chinese. Everybody is able to come to America and wax rich off of our ills, off of the fact that we hate and despise one another. And that's why the death of our brother, I must talk about the death of our brother Nipsey Hussle and what he was trying to do. This is a man who, I can't say he was a follower of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but what he was trying to do in our community out in Los Angeles was definitely inspired by the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. There's not one of us, I don't care how far removed we may think we are from the teachings of Islam, there's not one of us who have not been affected by the work of this great man. And what the ideas that Nipsey Hussle was trying to implement in the black community of Crenshaw is absolutely the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Because a lot of times we come up, we get a little money, and the first thought that we have is to move out of the hood. We can't wait to get a little money so we can get away from our brothers and sisters. But this was not the thinking of Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle was investing the money that he was getting out of the hip hop and putting it back into the community. He had started a STEM institute, started a business incubator. He was seeking ways to educate people on investing in the black community, establishing jobs, establishing enterprise, establishing institutions in the black neighborhoods to educate and employ our own people. He was trying to find a way to get people stimulated into the ideas of the AI, artificial intelligence, and the Silicon Valley, the computer age, bringing us up into the new technology, the modern technology that would allow us to function in the new economy that is now coming up. Because most of us are not being educated in the way of the future. Manufacturing job, that's out the window. Those things aren't coming back. Automation is taking over. So we must get in line with the new technology. And who is going to educate us in that? We're not getting that kind of education in the public school system. The public school system has failed black America. Most of our children are graduating from high school and they can't read the diploma, that the words on the diploma that they're getting. So this man was trying to reinvest his money back into the black community. And this is an idea that, quiet as it's kept, is dangerous. Now, I don't know what was behind this man's death, but at very least, it stems from our hatred of one another. We don't have the proper love for one another. Those of us who are making money, we seek to get away from our community. And those of us who don't have any money, we're trying to take it from the ones who are working hard. So all of this is working against our rise. We must rise together as a people. We must, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, we must unite our nickels and dimes. He did that with the Nation of Islam. What the Nation of Islam is not that the Nation of Islam is what's going to rise us up, but the ideas or the example that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad used in building the Nation of Islam will build the whole lost found nation, which is all of us. The Nation of Islam is not something that you and I can join. It's not something that we join. You are already a member of the Nation of Islam. It's just, are we going to function on the level of brothers and sisters? Are we going to rise to that level as a nation? And the Bible teaches us that this is what the enemy's plan is, to keep us from being a nation. Read the 83rd chapter of Psalms. It says, the wicked have taken crafty counsel against the righteous, and they have said, come, let us deal wisely with them, that we might cut them off from ever being a nation. This is the downfall of the black man and woman of America. This is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was trying day and night for over 40 years to teach us, that we are actually a nation within a nation. And the only thing that is required for us to get up out of the miserable condition that we're in is that we unite together as a nation. And this is also what scares and petrifies our enemies. Do you wonder what is it that keeps them at our throats so hard? Why do they hate us so much? They brought us over here. They went 9,000 miles, got our slave forefathers, brought them here to this wilderness, enslaved them, beat them, robbed them, and now they have the nerve to hate us. Why? It's not hatred just for hatred's sake. It's hatred out of fear. They fear our unity. They fear that 50 million people might come together and work in one accord. Just imagine if black people just one day just stood up in unity. We wouldn't have to unify with any guns. We wouldn't have to unify with bullets. We wouldn't have to unify with warfare on our mind. We just unify just being brothers. Just being brothers and sisters and acting brotherly and sisterly towards one another. Just waking up with the idea and the mind of doing for or wanting for our brother what we want for ourselves. And that is the power of the work of Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle was showing what we can do when we want for our brother and sister what we want for ourselves. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has taught us that the duty of a civilized man is to teach the uncivilized who are savage. We as a people, not each and every one of us, but we as a people have been living in this spiritual wilderness, in this land of beasts, and we have lost the knowledge of ourselves, and we are living a beast life, so that makes us savage. But the duty of those of us who claim to be civilized is that we teach civilization to those who have been made uncivilized. And this was the idea, and this was the work of Brother Nipsey Hussle. And it must be the work of those of us who now want to pick up his mantle. We should not be running from our brothers and sisters in the hood. We should run to our brothers and sisters in the hood. That should make us more determined to unite our nickels and dimes, to do something to build our communities up. When we see something like what happened in Ferguson, Missouri, where our young brother was shot down in the street and his body just laid there for hours and hours, hands up, and they shot him down like a dog. And then no indictment, no repercussions for his murder. That should make us not just burn down the neighborhood, but that should make us invest in getting something established, establishing businesses to put our brothers and sisters to work. Why should our community be a community that just serves to help other people, that serves to enrich other nations and other people? There's every major city you go to, you see Chinatown, you see Greek Town, you see Little Korea, you see Little Vietnam. Why can we not come together as brothers and sisters and make businesses and unite in business and work together to establish ourselves? Why can't we come together as intelligent men and women and clean up our neighborhood and take the responsibility for making our neighborhoods safe, clean, prosperous places to raise a family, to work and play? These are the things that we must do as a people, and it takes men and women of vision, such as our brother Nipsey Hussle, to bring these things together. So brothers and sisters, the time now is getting short for this message, but I hope that you would tune in again next week and listen again and learn more, study more, study the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and let's come together as brothers and sisters as I greet you in the greeting words of our forefathers. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for tuning in to 19 Minutes. You have just heard F. Shabakhan Muhammad as he bears witness to the life-giving teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Please like, share, and subscribe. Click on the notification bell to be notified when an episode is uploaded. We will see you next time for 19 Minutes, your weekly series appearing every Monday on YouTube at the 1900 hour or 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum.